Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
I was deep in it, gaming on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Unfolding the screen made it twice as big and so immersive, I kinda lost myself. Might have trolled a little too close to the sun. Someone in the chat told me to touch grass, so I took my Z Fold 7 outside and kept playing. Still won, got a tan, and a nice little reset. Powerful processor, realistic graphics, you stay locked in, streak stays alive. Can your phone do that?
The new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Get yours at Samsung.com.
It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Now, here's Joe Concha.
The NFL is back today in full force as far as a full Sunday slate. A lot of great matchups for week one. And we're going to talk to Michelle Tafoya about that and obviously everything hot on the political scene as well. But first, let me remind you that the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Walk Run is coming on Sunday, September 28th. All of us here at Red Apple Audio Networks are encouraging our listeners to donate to our team. Please go to redappleaudionetworks.com/walk to donate. Please help us raise the most money for the amazing Tunnel to Towers Foundation Walk Run. Let's never forget America's heroes and what they do for us. Let's raise some money, please, for our veterans, please, for our first responders and 9/11 victims. That's redappleaudionetworks.com/walk. Remember, every dollar counts. Okay, Michelle Tafoya has been waiting patiently on our hotline. She is the host of the Michelle Tafoya podcast. I have joined. It is awesome. She has only won, 4 Emmy Awards at NBC Sports and other places. More at michelletafoya.com/links. Michelle, how are you?
I am good. And I'm thrilled that you are affiliated with Tunnel to Towers. It is, I think, one of my favorite organizations in terms of fundraising and all of that. I just think what they do is amazing and so necessary.
Oh, I agree. And the thing is that the foundation, you know that the money is going where it should, Yeah. Frank Stellar, who runs it, who I've met many times, has been on Fox many times. You should just get more and more celebrities to do these ads. Like there's Mark Wahlberg and there's Andy Pettit. And, it's just amazing. And they just keep getting bigger. And that's only good for all these veterans, and particularly these smart homes that they build for if you're in a wheelchair, you're disabled, you could get around easily and you don't have to reach up to a cabinet or anything and everything pulls out. I could go on because I was in one of them recently, but it is great work, and I'm so glad that they are the primary sponsor of this great show on Red Apple Audio Networks, WABC in New York. So let's talk first. Let's see, so many places to go. The most viral video while we were on our lovely cruise in Norway was apparently a woman who is now called Philly's Karen, and basically, I couldn't tell if it was a home run or a foul ball. I'm pretty sure it was a foul ball. And the ball's kind of in this area where not every seat is filled. So one Phillies fan runs over, a guy probably about my age, and he gets the ball first, and he goes back to his son who's beaming, and he puts the ball in the kid's mitt. And that's what dads do, right? And that's something that the kids, exactly, the kid's always going to remember. Well, this woman who kind of looks like this cross of Jim Acosta meets Rosie O'Donnell, suddenly comes running over and, physically touches him. It gets in the guy's face and is screaming at the guy saying that it was her ball, who she apparently has never been to a ball game before because it's whoever gets to the ball first, right? And it was in his,
what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, you could see clearly on the video. That's why I'm describing it as detailed as I can because we don't have video on this show. And then from there, the guy was just so fed up. I think I would have done the same thing. People, I see on X on Twitter saying, you never should have backed down. At some point, you're like, you know what? Take the damn ball. All right. If you're a 50-something-year-old woman and, you want to take the ball from this 11-year-old kid, go right ahead. And now I've read that she's been fired from her job, but I don't know if that's accurate. It's a social media thing. But where do you come down on this? Because on one hand, Michelle, it was horrible what she did, but I don't know if we have to dox the person, figure out where they work, what their name is. I think there's a line, and I think that's where my line is. Mock her on Twitter, but we don't need to know who she is and where she works. She shouldn't have to lose a job over this, being as horrible as she is.
I agree. It was really, the way she acted was horrible. I know there was she waved the bird at the fans. She took the ball. Look, when you get to the ball first, it's your ball. I don't care where it drops. So I'm with you. It should have belonged to the dad. The kid came out great in the end because he got recognized by the team, ended up getting an autographed bat and the whole bit. Yeah. But she shouldn't have her life ruined. She's embarrassed enough as it is, I hope, by everything and how viral it's gone. Getting fired from your job, that's a little over the top. I think maybe, a good talking to would take care of it. But it is weird how people came down on two sides of this. As the dad, you need to stand up for your kid. You should have never let her get in your face. Sorry, my dog is very upset at a commercial right now. But
mine's right here too.
On the other side, how far are you? It's a baseball, and this woman's in your face, and she's like breathing in your space. I don't know how you just get rid of her otherwise. It was just a really ugly situation. There's been a lot of that, right? We had the hat at the U.S. Open, and people just taking stuff. It's really been a weird start to the fall.
Do you think that, and we're talking to Michelle Tafoya, that social media has made us less social? In other words, that we're so locked into our phone, not we, me and you, but so many people, when they actually get out and around other people, they still think they're on X, where they can just yell at people with, and not realize that this is not how you treat people. Like when I was in Amsterdam before we went to Norway, I was I know I sound so pretentious when I say this, but I swear to God, people, I don't go in these things very often, but the hotel had a nice sauna. So I'm like, all right, let me get a good sweat, some nice beads. And I go down there and I'm leaving, the sauna and I shut the door, but apparently didn't shut all the way. I thought like it would kind of like close behind me. This guy comes out, screams in my face. He's like, "You stupid." I think he was Turkish. He's like, "You stupid. How do you not shut the door? That is so rude." Like yelling in my face. I'm like, dude, it's a sauna. Like, what do you want me to do? Right? Yeah. So I said, all right, let me go get you a towel. I'm sorry that you got a little cold here. Let me shut this for you. He didn't get the sarcasm. He's like, yes, good. But I was so taken aback by that. I'm like, we've lost our civility, it feels like.
We have lost our civility, and I really would love to see it come back. Sometimes I love watching period pieces on television or in film because everyone's so civil and lovely. Now, there's a lot of backstabbing behind the scenes, but in public, people treat each other properly, and we just don't do that enough. So I'm trying to do my part and to just be really nice to people, and leave it at that. But yeah, we're in a weird place right now, and I really hope we shake the dust off of this thing and try to find ourselves back in real life and treating people kindly.
Yes, it's not hard, and
it's not hard.
Open a door for somebody. If you're on like a subway or train, I do it every time. I'm not being braggadocious, but if there is a woman that is standing, you offer the seat. And I'm shocked. I'll see a bunch of guys around me who just act like they don't even see her, but they do. They just don't want to do it, And
by the way, that's a global phenomenon. I've seen that on trains all over the world where selfish youngsters don't get up for the pregnant woman or the older woman. It's like, what are you doing? Come on. So just,
Yeah, you'll feel better about yourself. And speaking of being uncivil, let's talk about Ryan Clark for a moment now, just to give our fans a little education. So Ryan Clark played for, I believe, the Steelers, right? He was a defensive back.
Yes.
And he was on some good teams, but he wasn't the guy who carried them. This was not Deion Sanders, all right? He was part of a great system with a great coach. I'm not saying that he wasn't a good player, but at the same time, he seems to think that he's kind of like Hall of Fame material on ESPN because he keeps belittling his coworkers. It's quite remarkable. Mm-hmm. So we're going to play cut 2 here, and just to give you guys some background. So a guy named Peter Schrager, who worked at Fox, and he was with the NFL Network, and he's a nice guy. Like you meet Peter, and you respect him because he works really hard. Now, Peter never played football. May have been like me and played in high school, but I don't know. He didn't play professionally. So anyway, he's giving like a perfectly reasonable analysis about the Eagles-Cowboys game that happened Thursday night as the opener. And Ryan Clark jumps in here and decides that, well, you really should have an opinion because you never played the game. This is cut 2. Go.
We shouldn't do this on TV. And so I apologize if people think this is rude. That's the non-player.
Oh, stop. Oh. CeeDee Lamb is
let me tell you why. I'm not looking at fantasy football. Ryan, I'm not. Don't belittle me like that.
I would never say that to somebody on a set publicly. You don't deserve to have an opinion. What happens when Bill Belichick joins that set? Because at last check, Michelle, I believe he did not play professionally either.
He did not play. No, it was dumb. And the fact is that Ryan Clark set that up by saying, I probably shouldn't do this on live TV. And yet he went ahead and did it. Right. He knew it was not a good decision. And his apology, by the way, didn't happen on the air. It happened on X, and he was doing a live, tweet session of a football game. I think it was the Chiefs game.
Chiefs Chargers, yeah.
And he sort of slipped this apology tweet into all the radio. On first down they should have done this. And by the way, last night I had an interchange with Peter Schrager that I shouldn't have had. So it was a bizarre way to apologize. I don't know if he was forced into it. I'll give Ryan Clark this amount of credit. I've been disappointed with him also when he, called RG3 not really black because RG3 married a white woman.
Wow.
I covered Ryan Clark for years and years, probably his whole career. So I invited him onto my podcast and he came. And we had some disagreements, but we talked, get this, we talked civilly about it. But this one is, again, it's kind of obnoxious and it's downplaying that somebody who didn't play, it's like looking down on them as though they can't have an opinion or even an analysis. I mean, you can have an analysis of a play that, look, I covered football for 30 years. I think I'm qualified to some measure of analysis. If he had said that to me, I would like to think that I had the same guts as Schrager for saying, don't even go there, pal, which I applaud Schrager for.
Don't belittle me is what he said. And it's true, right? You don't get personal. You can have a disagreement. That's what these shows are, especially on ESPN. That's all they are, it seems. But again, if you're Joe Buck, or if you are Mike Tirico, or if you are Jim Nantz, right? Or Al Michaels.
Al Michaels.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they could give a fair analysis on XYZ as far as what happened during a game, if they did not play the game. And we're talking to Michelle Tafoya. Michelle Tafoya has an awesome podcast. Please do download it wherever you get podcasts. Let's switch gears here for a moment. Now, you live, are you in Minneapolis or outside of it?
I'm just outside of Minneapolis.
All right. That's like me. I'm just outside of New York.
Minneapolis adjacent, as the kids like to say. Okay.
And at some point, I would imagine President Trump is going to send National Guard troops to Minneapolis, just like he, is going to do with Chicago, or at least, trying to do anyway, like he did in cleaning up Washington, 13 straight days without a murder. I mean, that's amazing. But more importantly, like carjacking's down like 65%. I mean, just insane numbers, just by doing this. New Orleans is next as well. I have a feeling that the governor there, and the mayor of Minneapolis, and the governor obviously is, goofy Tim Walz, is going to make a big stink of how this is not needed. But boy, that sure could have been used in the first couple of days in 2020 when, Minneapolis was suffering billions in damage as far as businesses, police station actually burned to the ground. I mean, crazy stuff. Would you like to see that ultimately? Does Minneapolis need it, or are there cities that are more deserving?
Well, I think almost every big city in America, you look at judges here in Minneapolis, we have really leftist judges who have let people off the hook that I can't even believe. We had this horrible shooting recently where 2 young children, 8 and 10, were killed inside a church and many more injured. That dude was crazy, and mentally ill. I think, and everyone's going, more gun laws, more gun laws. Well, we have red flag laws in Minnesota. We have lots of gun laws in Minnesota. I don't know that bad guys are going to obey gun laws. I don't really want to see tanks and stuff downtown, but I will say that Minneapolis has deteriorated so much since I moved here. I'm originally from Southern California. I moved here. I've lived almost half my life here now with my family, and I don't even want to take my family downtown anymore.
Wow.
It's a shell of what it was, and that means going to Twins games, there's just a little bit more on edge. Going to Timberwolves games, you're a little bit more on edge. Vikings, all the rest, because there's so much crime downtown, and it's just unpleasant. And it used to be clean and beautiful and safe, and it isn't anymore. And yes, I think 2020, the George Floyd riots, led to a lot of that. So this is brutal. And what I wish is that we didn't have these crazy leftists running for mayor and winning mayor and city council members too. We have some nuts on the city council. I'm not exaggerating. These are the people who said, "Oh, being able to call 911 is coming from a place of privilege." No, we pay taxes so that we can call 911. So it's all pretty insane. And Tim Walz as the governor isn't helping anything. So. I don't really want to see the National Guard, but I would like to see some seriousness in the midst of everything.
Yeah, I've read that Minneapolis has its own Zohran Mamdani running for mayor there. He might be actually somehow worse, which I didn't think was possible. But let me play for you here, cut two here, guys. This is Mamdani went on CNN with Abby Phillip, who is profoundly liberal, but I will give her credit. She actually did a decent job here. And she asked a question around, basically you've benefited from capitalism, and now you want to introduce socialism and you hate the system that you benefited from. Listen to his answer. This is cut two. Go.
The United States, you have benefited from this country. This is what your critics say. But you don't support the system, the economic system that perhaps you benefited from. Is that right?
I love this country, and I'm also a New Yorker who has loved this city. And one of the things that I love most about the city are its parks.
So it's not like, hey, well, let's talk capitalism versus communism. And he's like, the parks are really nice.
What the hell was that answer? And I'm
a dodge.
Again, it's astonishing. It's a dodge. I'm astonished. I have Jewish friends. I talk to a number of New Yorkers who are Jews who cannot believe that Jews are supporting this guy who is clearly an anti-Semite, who is, there are just not enough bad things you can say about Zohran Mamdani, but I guess he flashes those pearly whites and tells people your bus fare is going to be cheap, or, nothing. Buses are going to be free. Childcare is going to be free. We're going to give you. What people don't seem to understand is that nothing is free, because you will pay for it out of your taxes, folks. Your taxes will have to go through the roof to support all of these things, or you're going to end up living in a shell of New York City. It's going to be really sad. But it sounds like this guy's going to win. And again, it's astonishing.
Yeah, Curtis Sliwa, the Republican nominee, I think has every right to stay in because he's representing a party. He says he is not going to leave in any way, shape, or form. I agree with that.
And didn't Eric Adams said the same thing, didn't he? That he's in it. Yeah,
he's in it. Now, I think that's like the X factor. Like Adams is polling at like 11%. I mean, he's toxic. I hate to say it, but that's Eric Adams right now. There is no base for him. The only way this happens where Mamdani can be beaten is if it's a binary choice between Sliwa and Mamdani or Cuomo and Mamdani, and that's just not going to happen. So yeah, he's probably going to be the next mayor. So I guess that's bad news for New York, but I guess good news for people who write campaign ads for the Republican Party, because he's going to become the face of it, along with AOC and Elizabeth Warren, who still loves to fly private to this very day. But anyway, Michelle, they're telling us.
And our very own Ilhan Omar here in Minneapolis, who now is worth some $30 million.
Is she really? From what?
That's the latest.
Wow.
Stake in a winery and a lobbying firm. Yeah, it's amazing.
That is insane. That's like Bernie Sanders owning 3 homes and being worth something like, $40 million.
Yeah.
And yet, they're such hypocrites. Well, we have to leave it there, unfortunately. I did want to talk education with you. So can we have you back, perhaps, first week in October, Michelle, if you are around?
Love to do it. We'll talk a little NFL too.
Oh, yes, that's right. Have any upset predictions for today at all?
No upset Well, no, I hate doing that, but I do love the fact that that Lamar and the Bills are going to face one another right away to start the season. It's so fun. Easily
the biggest game of the day. I have Jets over Steelers. Yeah. I think there's a revenge game, a hatred of Aaron Rodgers by the Jets themselves, and I think they win that game. Anyway, I'm going to leave there, and that's it. Michelle, thanks so much. MichelleTafoya.com, the host of the Michelle Tafoya podcast. We will talk to you soon, Michelle. Thanks so much.
It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday Morning Show.